Alright, so I am currently doing a whole series on my channel talking about all the pros and cons of every single piercing I've ever had, and I'm currently going to be telling you all the pros and cons along with some tips and recommendations that I've accumulated over the years about the flat piercing or the faux rook. I don't know what it's called. Some people call it the faux rook, some people call it the flat. I call it my first ever piercing. I got it almost 14 years ago. I'm an old bitch. Anyways, if you're interested in seeing any of my other piercing videos, I'm gonna leave my piercing playlist in the description or up here somewhere. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and let's go. Alright, so like I said, I have the flat or faux rook, or both. This is it. If you can't really see it, I'm going to leave a picture of somebody else's ear that has the same piercing. Like I said, I got this around 14 years ago. Not only that, but this was my first ever like real piercing aside from my lobes. So this piercing holds a very special place in my heart. As for the pain level, I'm pretty sure it was, I think, like a 5 out of 10. It honestly wasn't that painful. Then again, it really depends on the person because everybody experiences pain differently. But for me, it was like a 5 out of 10. Alright, so now on to the pros and cons. I got my handy dandy notebook here. Pro number 1. It is a very, very unique piercing. It's not that common. I don't think I've met somebody in real life with this piercing. Chances are if you get it, you're probably not going to run into a lot of people that have it. And if you do, it's not going to be as common as like a helix or a lobe piercing. So it's very unique, and I feel like that's always a pro. Another pro is that you can see it. Unlike some of my other piercings, like the daith or my forward helixes up here, you could actually see this one because it's like right there, you know. Plus I feel like I have big ears, so you could just like, you know, you could see it. It's there, and I feel like if you get a piercing, you kind of want people to see it. I mean, depend what piercing you get. You don't want everybody to see every piercing, but at least with this one, you know, people can see it and it's not that hidden, which is a good thing. Another pro is that it healed pretty fast. It didn't really give me any issues. It's a pretty simple, easygoing piercing, which is great. Also, you have endless piercing options. You could put anything that you find for a tragus here. You could put anything you find for a helix. Not everything you could find for a helix, but most things for a helix you could put here. I even gauged it in high school up to whatever gauge a tongue ring is, and I would put tongue rings in there. I also found on Amazon like these cool, like big out there jewelry. I'm gonna link them all, but I'm constantly changing it because there are endless options and you could just put so much in your ear to have your ear look super cool and aesthetic. But yeah, just the fact that you have so many options to put in your ear is like a major pro. Not only that, but it rarely gets caught in anything. I mean, if you have like a big elaborate jewelry, of course it's gonna get caught in your ear, but for the most part, not really. Compared to like other piercings I have, this one gets caught in my hair the least. Now on to the cons. Con number 1 is that you can't put a ring in it. I've never wanted to put a ring in it, but if you're somebody who likes to have all rings or hoops, you can't do that with this one. Also, if you take it off, there's a big hole in your ear. I remember back when I would put the tongue ring in it, I never closed it in the back, so as I was sleeping it fell off and I wasn't able to find it, and for like a whole 2 weeks I just had this big hole in my ear. Yeah, it's not that cute. So if you don't like scars or holes, especially such a visible one, this is probably not the piercing for you. And that's pretty much it for the cons. Honestly, this piercing does not have that much cons. I might be a little biased because it's my first piercing and it's just so meaningful for me, but yeah, I only have 2 cons. Alright, so now on to my tips and my recommendations. My first recommendation is to put something short. Like obviously when they pierce it, they're gonna put something long, but once it heals, I recommend short jewelry. That way it won't get caught in your ear. It doesn't really get caught either way, but the jewelry might be hitting the back of your head, kind of like twisted. Not twisted, but like it's at an angle, and that's uncomfortable. So I recommend getting something short so it doesn't bother you too much. My second recommendation is to not get it on the ear that you sleep on, because if you do, it's gonna bother you. Luckily, I didn't do that. I got it on this ear. I don't sleep on this side, but sometimes I do like to lay on this side, and whenever I have my big jewelry, it does bother and it does get annoying. So I definitely recommend getting it on the ear that you don't sleep on, and on the ear that you do not cover with hair, because this is how I usually wear my hair, and if I would have gotten it on this ear, it would have sucked because nobody can see it. Honestly, nobody could even see all the jewelry I have here, so yeah, don't get it on the ear that you sleep on, and don't get it on the ear that you cover with hair. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is like a pretty simple piercing. I don't really have much else to say about it, but if I did forget to mention anything, make sure to leave a comment down below in case somebody's interested in getting this piercing, then you can help them out with your advice. Also, if you want to see any of my other piercing videos, I'm going to leave that playlist in the description, and you guys should definitely check it out. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in my next video.